Greetings, I'm Elizabeth and I'm 35 years old. I never imagined I'd have such an unusual tale to share, but here it is. Prepare for a roller coaster journey. It was a bright, sunny afternoon when my in-laws, Samantha and David, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, arrived at our doorstep. They had just returned from a long-awaited vacation in Canada, a trip they had always dreamt of. Living in their native Spain, we seldom spent time together except during family gatherings or through occasional online chats. From these brief interactions, I had always believed our relationship was strong and positive. Unfortunately, I was soon to discover I was mistaken. Unknown to me, Samantha and David harbored secret plans to undermine both my daughter and me. Their visit was set to uncover a torrent of hidden bitterness and hostility, cleverly masked by their outwardly friendly demeanor. "How are you?" "I'm feeling great, Grandma." "Hi, Grandpa, how was your flight?" "Oh, it was tiring. I'm, exhausted. I need to rest. But not before some refreshments, surely." "Ah, Elizabeth, you spoil me. Hello, Ma. Hello, Papa. It's good to see you well." "Yes, my son. We made it. Thank God." "Hey, speak English, you two. We want to be part of the conversation. This is just your cue to polish up your Spanish, my dear." From this conversation, anyone would think we were the typical, joyful, extended family. I believed the same, but I was about to uncover truths that would make anyone reconsider their opinions about seemingly pleasant relatives. You see, after marrying into a Spanish family, I embraced a new culture and language alongside my husband, John. While I hadn't become fluent, I knew enough Spanish to pick up on subtleties and sense when things were off. Samantha and David always exhibited warmth and affection when John was present, but they hid their true feelings about me and my daughter, Olivia. The reality of their sentiments began to surface when John left for work. As a housewife, I started to see their true colors, revealing a side of them I had never anticipated. I spent most of my time at home managing our household and nurturing our family. With the arrival of my in-laws, I made sure to be around as much as possible so we could reconnect and spend quality time together. Olivia, having just wrapped up her freshman year at university, was home for the summer. This was a perfect opportunity for us both to bond with our relatives. I envisioned a joyful and harmonious time filled with laughter, games, and meaningful conversations. At first, everything seemed ideal. However, as the days passed, I noticed a troubling pattern. Their conversations increasingly shifted to Spanish, deliberately excluding Olivia and me. We tried to remain polite and didn't mention it, out of respect. But one day, Olivia couldn't hold back her confusion and frustration anymore. "Mom, why do they always speak in Spanish now?" "Oh, my love, it's okay. That's their comfort language, so we need to be accommodating," I reassured her. "But it's all the time now. I thought we'd get to hang out and enjoy this time together." "We will, sweetie, we will. Let's give them some time to adjust to Canada. It must be overwhelming. It'll get better, I promise." So, Olivia and I brushed it off as a quirky habit. But as days turned into weeks and their tone became colder when I entered the room, my suspicions grew. It seemed they were purposefully isolating us, confining their real thoughts to their private Spanish conversations. Olivia grew increasingly upset and puzzled by their behavior. She was eager to connect with her cool Spanish grandparents, but their actions made it incredibly challenging. To bridge the growing gap and bring us all closer, I suggested we play a game one evening. "The rules are simple," I explained. "We each tell 2 truths about ourselves and 1 lie. The rest have to guess the lie." "Oh, that sounds fun, and it would be a great way for us all to learn more about each other," I added, trying to inject some enthusiasm. To our surprise, Samantha and David seemed uninterested, even a bit annoyed at the idea. The atmosphere felt strained despite their reluctance and my attempts to be a gracious host. This game, meant to unite us, only highlighted the distance between us, making their discomfort and lack of interest painfully obvious. I abandoned the game idea and instead asked them what they would prefer to do. "I would like to drink some tea and chat with my husband," David responded abruptly. "Oh, okay. Can Mom and I join you?" I asked, hoping to be inclusive. His reply was curt and shocking. "No, my dear, we would just like to enjoy a quiet afternoon." "All right," I acknowledged, trying to mask my disappointment. "I understand you're much older and might not enjoy these games, but you two never talk to us. You're always speaking in Spanish." His reaction was swift and severe. "How dare you speak to us like this? So disrespectful. Were you raised on a farm? How dare you speak to my daughter that way?" I countered, my voice rising in defense. "She's just a kid who wants to spend time with her grandparents, but you're making it incredibly difficult." "Whatever, let's go, David," Samantha interjected sharply. They stood up and began speaking loudly in Spanish, not attempting to hide their conversation. Although I couldn't grasp every word, their tone and gestures made it clear they were speaking ill of us. I felt too humiliated to tell John about the incident when he came home that evening. I worried he might sense the tension at dinner, where, ironically, David and Samantha engaged us in friendly conversation as if the earlier conflict had never occurred. We played along, but the facade of a happy family dinner didn't sit well with Olivia and me. Driven by a mix of curiosity and a growing sense of betrayal, I decided to take action. As Samantha and David chatted in the living room over the next few days, I discreetly started recording their conversations on my phone. With each press of the record button, my hands trembled, but my resolve strengthened. I was determined to uncover the truth hidden in their secret talks. Over a week, I managed to accumulate several recordings of their discussions. I carefully documented each conversation, seizing every opportunity to capture their words. My collection of evidence grew, each recording adding to a growing dossier of their private exchanges. This was not just about understanding anymore. It was about discovering the full extent of their disregard and duplicity. My understanding of Spanish was basic at best, making it difficult to fully grasp their conversations. However, as I replayed the recordings repeatedly, I caught snippets of what sounded like harsh and rude language. The possibility of uncovering something truly unpleasant was daunting, yet I was determined to understand the full extent of what was being said. Fortunately, I had a friend who could help. Lisa, born in Mali and moved to the States as an infant, was perfectly bilingual, thanks to her parents who ensured she maintained her native language skills. Raised in Canada, she was the ideal person to assist me with the translation. One day I called Lisa and asked her to come over. To avoid any chance of Samantha and David spotting her, I discreetly brought her around to the back of the house. We found a quiet spot outside where we could talk without being overheard. I shared everything with Lisa: the odd behavior of my in-laws, my suspicions, and my fears. She was incredibly supportive, reassuring me that she would do whatever she could to help. "From what you're telling me, it sounds like they're discussing some pretty concerning stuff. But don't worry, I'll do my best to assist in any way I can," she said. "Thanks, love. You're a lifesaver," I replied, grateful for her friendship. "Just doing my job as a best friend," she smiled. As I played the audio recordings for her, Lisa's expression turned pale and she began to tremble. "Lisa, what's wrong?" I asked, concerned. "I can't breathe," she gasped, panic evident in her voice. She was struggling to breathe, and the situation quickly escalated as she experienced what seemed to be a severe panic attack. Fear and concern overwhelmed me as I tried to comfort her, guiding her to a shaded area where she could lie down. "I'll be right back," I reassured her, rushing inside to grab a glass of water. Returning quickly, I helped her sip the water and gently massaged her arms to help her relax. Thankfully, her breathing gradually normalized, and she calmed down without Samantha and David noticing anything amiss. They were probably still busy chatting inside. During this time, Olivia, who had been near her bedroom window, heard the commotion and hurried down to see what was happening. "Is everything okay?" Olivia asked, arriving breathless with worry. Together, we managed to help Lisa fully recover, keeping the incident low-key to avoid drawing unwanted attention from the in-laws. I sat Olivia down to explain what had just happened, detailing that I had secretly recorded her grandparents' conversations. The content was so unsettling that it triggered Lisa's panic attack, and we were both apprehensive about what else we might discover. Once Lisa had calmed down and we were all in the privacy of my bedroom, she apologized for her reaction. "Don't you dare apologize," I told her firmly. "You did nothing wrong. All that matters is that you're safe now. Don't worry, David and Samantha didn't see you. They've moved to the front lawn, so Olivia and I managed to bring you upstairs without them noticing. You gave us quite a scare, Lisa, but I'm relieved you're safe now," Olivia added. Lisa sighed. "I probably should have mentioned my tendency for panic and anxiety attacks, but honestly, I wasn't expecting to be hit with such shocking information." "Tell us, Lisa, what were they saying?" I urged gently. Lisa took a deep breath, sipped some water, and then began to explain what she had deciphered from the recordings. "Elizabeth, Olivia, there's no gentle way to say this, so I'm just going to be straightforward. It appears Samantha and David are plotting something horrific. They're planning to sell Olivia to some very dangerous people." Olivia and I were stunned into silence, our jaws dropping in shock. "That's not all," Lisa continued, her voice trembling. "They also talked about selling you, Elizabeth. They've devised a plan to fake both of your deaths in a car accident that supposedly ends in flames, leaving no trace of your bodies. They believe they can make a fortune from this, especially because of Olivia's age." I felt nauseous, the room spinning around me as she spoke. They were so emotionless and cruel, discussing it as if it was nothing. That's why I panicked. Hearing someone talk so blatantly about such an evil act was too much for me. "You can take a break if you need to, both of you," I said, trying to maintain composure. "This is a lot to process." Olivia, looking pale and shocked, asked me, "Mom, why aren't you crying? Aren't you feeling sick?" "Of course I am sick to my stomach," I responded, my anger rising. "But right now I'm mostly furious. They threatened to harm you, Olivia, and I won't let that happen. We need to think clearly and decide what to do next." I knew I could never forgive them. They had said even more horrifying things, but for the sake of our mental well-being, I decided to withhold those details for the moment. The shock and fear that gripped me, Lisa, and Olivia were overwhelming. It was hard to believe that we had been living under the same roof as criminals for the past month. While fear was a constant companion, it was the unbridled rage within me that burned the brightest. I had an intense urge to confront them, to scream at them until they were nothing more than withered husks. But Lisa held me back. "June, I understand you're upset and you have every right to be," she said, her voice steady yet soothing. "But confronting them right now without a plan is not wise. You live with these people. Who's to say they won't retaliate in the worst ways possible?" "You're right. You're absolutely right," I conceded, the logic in her words grounding me. "We have the upper hand because we know what they're planning. We can't afford to lose that advantage." "So, what are we going to do?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "We need to get out of here now," she said firmly. "Go pack your essentials and make sure to lock your door just in case. I'll do the same. Lisa, please help her while I make a call to John." "Sure thing, we'll be back as soon as we're done," Lisa agreed. Once they left the room, the tears I had been holding back started to flow. The enormity of the revelations overwhelmed me, and I couldn't help but break down. Yet there was a part of me that felt relieved to have discovered the truth before it was too late. I wiped my tears and composed myself enough to call John. I told him everything, how his parents had treated us over the past month, their rude outburst after we suggested playing a game, and of course, about the secret recordings and what Lisa had translated. John, you don't need translations to understand the gravity of their words, but you should be prepared for what you're about to hear, I explained. Lisa didn't go into every detail, but she told us enough to confirm that our safety here is compromised. I'm taking Olivia to Lisa's house as soon as we're packed. With that plan set, I focused on the immediate task, ensuring our safety and preparing for the confrontation that would inevitably come once John was fully aware of the depth of his parents' betrayal. I had to tell you everything, and I know it must feel like I've just dropped a bomb in your lap, but you needed to hear the truth. Yeah, that's a lot to take in, John replied, his voice heavy. I'm sorry I didn't share the other stuff earlier. I thought I could handle it on my own. I knew it would break your heart to learn we weren't getting along as well as you hoped. Let me listen to the audio, okay? I'll get back to you soon, he added. We ended the call and I immediately began packing my things, occasionally glancing through the window to ensure that the two culprits were still outside. By the time I finished, Lisa and Olivia returned to my room, and almost at that moment, John called again. His voice was filled with distress, a natural reaction upon discovering such betrayal from his parents. He insisted we leave the house immediately and meet him at Lisa's place, I relayed to Olivia and Lisa as we gathered our essentials. We slipped quietly into the car, parked in the garage, and drove away swiftly. I saw David and Samantha in the rearview mirror, clearly surprised to see us leaving. They tried to call, but I ignored the phone. Upon arriving at Lisa's, I immediately called the police and informed them about everything, directing them to our house to arrest my in-laws. About 25 minutes later, John arrived at Lisa's. We embraced, crying together, releasing the tension and fear that had built up. Meanwhile, Lisa kept us updated on the police's progress. The police had detained Samantha and David successfully. John told us that before coming to Lisa's, he had stopped at the police station to submit the digital evidence I had sent him. With all the evidence in their hands, the police could effectively handle the situation. Although we weren't there to witness it, I imagined the shock and disbelief on Samantha and David's faces as the police stormed into our home. They were caught completely off guard, arrested, and restrained due to the severity of their alleged crimes. The once manipulative and powerful couple was now powerless, their true natures exposed for all to see. The news of their arrest quickly spread through our community, causing disbelief and shock among our acquaintances and neighbors. It was surreal to think that such a dramatic, almost cinematic event was unfolding around ordinary people like us. The revelation that they were involved in human trafficking sent shockwaves throughout the town, shattering the respectable image they had maintained for years both here and back in their home country. The legal proceedings that followed were intense, with the prosecution presenting a robust case built on the compelling evidence we had gathered against Samantha and David. Their fall from grace was complete as the community and legal system responded with swift justice to the crimes they had hidden behind closed doors. Over the weeks, I managed to collect damning evidence, and in the courtroom, the actions of Samantha and David were fully exposed. There was no doubt about their guilt. The evidence was overwhelming. The jury, visibly shocked by the gravity of their crimes, delivered a unanimous verdict of guilty on multiple charges related to human trafficking and conspiracy. As the judge announced the verdict, a sense of relief and satisfaction swept through the courtroom. Samantha and David, once held in high esteem, now faced the stark reality of their actions. They were sentenced to lengthy prison terms and were to be tried in Spain as well, where the laws on such crimes are even stricter, It was clear they would likely spend the remainder of their lives behind bars, effectively removing them from society, a relief to everyone they had endangered. The news of their arrest and conviction spread far and wide, becoming a major national story and serving as a stern warning to others who might think they could commit such atrocities without consequence. It was a triumph for justice, a reminder that no one is above the law. In the aftermath, Olivia, John, and I focused on healing and rebuilding our lives. The trauma from Samantha and David's betrayal was deep, especially for John, but we supported each other through every step. Our family bond grew stronger as we worked together to overcome the emotional scars left behind. Olivia, my brave and resilient daughter, showed remarkable strength. She had seen the darkest sides of human nature, but was determined not to let this experience define her. With therapy and the unwavering support of her family, she embarked on a journey of healing and self-discovery. Through art and expression, she found solace and a way to process her emotions, gradually reclaiming her sense of security and confidence. John, my steadfast husband, was our rock throughout this ordeal. He supported both Olivia and me, offering unwavering love and understanding. Together, we attended counseling sessions, fostering open and honest communication as we addressed the deep wounds inflicted by Samantha and David. His calm presence and unwavering commitment to our family provided a solid foundation for our healing journey. One evening, as we sat together in the living room, despite the weight of what we had been through, we felt a collective sense of relief and hope. Our hearts were heavy, but also full of love and gratitude for the strength we found in each other. In a heartfelt family meeting about our collective journey and future intentions, the atmosphere was charged with diverse feelings, yet optimism infused the air with a promising glow. "Olivia, how have you been holding up? Your courage has been nothing short of incredible," I inquired gently. "Life's been a challenge, Mom, but I'm finding my way. Art has become my refuge. It's how I channel and soothe my struggles. And with therapy, I'm reshaping my outlook and slowly rebuilding trust," she explained. "We are incredibly proud of you, Olivia. Your resilience is truly inspiring to us all. Remember, you're never alone," I offered warmly. "Exactly, my dear. We're all in this together, supporting and lifting each other as we forge ahead. We've traveled a long road and the path ahead promises to be bright," her father echoed. "Thanks to both of you. I can't imagine navigating this without your steadfast love and support. Despite the hardships, we've grown stronger and are now poised to reclaim our lives and make impactful changes," Olivia acknowledged with a smile. "Indeed, love. We've walked through some dark times but emerged tougher and more determined. We refuse to be defined by the missteps of others. As a family, we'll craft a future brimming with love, joy, and satisfaction," I assured her. "We're a strong family unit, unbreakable in spirit. We've shown that. Let's keep nurturing each other, healing, and constructing the life we all envision. Stronger than before, we're eager to embrace whatever lies ahead," her father affirmed. The dialogue wove through a spectrum of emotions, from the shadows of past pain to the luminous hopes for the future. As we continued on our path to healing, we found comfort in each other, confident in our collective strength to overcome any challenges and create a life filled with happiness.